Quiet on set.
It's actually acceptable in this video. We're talking. I know we're talking. Oh, it's pouring rain. It's 20 degrees outside. What do you want from me? I know it doesn't even rain when it's 20 degrees, but for some reason, North Carolina, that's what's happening right now. Everything's off at DCF, getting polished for this guy right now, so no work on this. Matt's still fired. Let's see. We've been cleaning up the shop.
Does he have a chance of getting his job back?
0%
chance.
0.001%.
So there's a slight bit of hope.
Sliver. Barely a sliver. David's been cleaning up the shop, so shout out to David for cleaning up the shop. I've been on my computer working, which I'm ready to just jump off of Logan K. Paul Memorial Bridge. But as you guys can tell by the title of this video, we're talking about trucks because I love race cars, but I also love trucks more than that because I'm just like a giant kid. Also, I hear people are doing a drinking game when I clap my hands, so.
Oof, dang,
you guys are done. Oh,
right.
In a snap too? What is that?
Well, like a claps like a beer, snaps like a shot or something.
Who knows? Who knows?
Go for a shot.
Mason is in it right now. Look at he's not used to working in a nice like concrete shop floor, so he decided to lay down a bunch of oil dry and then put it where he works, so he feels like he's back in the damn gravel driveway.
Come on, I want to clarify.
Clarify it for us.
Clarify.
Spell it first. Spell it.
Say it with your chest.
CLARIFY.
Oh man, look.
Damn, genius.
Wow.
Genius.
How does all that brain?
Clarify.
How does all that brain fit in that hat?
Okay.
Clarify.
I had a little bit of water, you know, because they put a drain on. They put a petcock on the radiator, but it drains onto the cross member, so it just goes everywhere.
He actually uses it as a verb. It's so weird. Anyways, continue.
So, I had it contained somewhat. John comes over here and decides to rock the motor forward and dump every bit of water out of the motor.
You would never.
So where I had a gallon of water on the floor, I instantly had 2 gallons of water on the floor, which was not containable under the truck. So now it's just everywhere.
Uncontainable. Let me clarify about Mason's patent pending crank stretching program that he does. Okay, come over here. We're gonna give you a complete walkthrough on that. So where's the crank bolt? And where's the puller?
Some of you might have seen it live on Instagram last night.
So we were on Instagram Live, okay? And dude, look at this. Look at this.
It's so bad.
He didn't bother to even mop it up or like push it in a pile. He's literally rolling around in it.
Hey, give it to me though. I always clean up after myself.
You do.
I never leave a mess.
Well, I would hope you would clean that up.
Yeah, I mean, you have no choice.
Yeah.
Either this, we're gonna have to dig the concrete up and lay some new ones.
It's not that big of a deal though. It's not your problem. I clean it up.
Weld audit. We'll be there.
Nice little piece of wire hanging off of it.
Yo, oh, I didn't see this. Is this additional?
Well, I accidentally laid the gun down and it started going wee, and I was like, shoot, shit.
All right. So, anyways, back to this story. So this here is a crank bolt, and as you can tell, it's like just absolutely pissed. Okay, it is absolutely pissed. So when you remove the crank bolt out of an LS, or really anything, what you do is you take it out. And then you set it to the side, and then you say, all right, now it's time to extract the balancer, because the balancer is captured by this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to tell this story, and there's an impact just stuffed down in the grill. I know you were looking for that earlier. Dude, this is absolutely remarkable. This is all unscripted. So anyways, and this is not a reflection on Mason's work or anything. Mason does great work, but we just like to give him a hard time. Sometimes you don't have to know what's going on in the middle, you just have to see the end product. We capture the middle. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, this one's been rough.
So, I'm like, hey, you ready to pull this out? He's like, yeah, and he had a socket, which I thought was on the snout of the crankshaft, but it wasn't actually on the snout of the crankshaft. He's like, oh, I loosened the bolt a little bit, and then I put the socket over it, which I didn't know until, like, that's...
Not over it, into it. As you can see, this socket, that's why this socket's stuck on the end. This is how I do it, like, every time. How many motors have I taken apart since I've been here?
3.
Right here.
3.
3 or 4, right?
Yeah, well, we don't know how many have extended crank snouts now, but...
Every one of them.
Has an extended crank snout.
I take because we don't have the correct puller.
Okay, let's be careful with the we. I have the correct puller somewhere in the shop.
John doesn't have the correct puller. I can't find it.
I don't have anything with stock balancer. I use the one that looks like a chicken foot.
Yeah, he's got the expensive ATI stuff, you know. I always just loosen the bolt, and then I run it in a couple threads, so it's in the crank. And then I stick this deal on it, smack this with an impact. When you smack with an impact, it just wheels the balancer right off, and then you'll feel it'll stop. And once it stops, you take it off. You can pull the bolt out, but once it's broke loose, sometimes once you get them moving, they come off no problem. But sometimes to get them moving is a little rough.
Time out. He forgot that we put anti-seize all over that.
Oh yeah.
God gotcha, bitch.
So I am officially the Tin Man.
So
But-
what happened was this wasn't like this might have been out like a thread, but as soon as you put any pressure on it, it turned it back tight. So he's like, just keep wrenching on it until it feels tight. And I'm like,
Mind you, we have
Dude.
the full jack handle.
and it's me and
Like,
David.
the size of this broom,
me
right?
and David have like 6 feet of leverage on this thing, and we're like, dude, it doesn't feel like it's coming loose. The balancer's not moving. I'm just whole time I'm saying like, hey, something's not right. Something's not right. Finally, we agree to stop. Right after the crank is now like this much longer, okay? Because all it's doing is it's trying to pull the balancer off while the bolt is still holding it on. There was probably so
It's
much
just
pressure.
stretching the bolt.
Yeah, I mean, these are torque to yield, so this bolt grew, okay? Torque to yield means like you torque it and then...
I mean, all bolts have a stretch rating.
Oh, we tested it.
Yeah, what was the stretch rating on this?
It's stretched.
Okay, so after, I'm like, hey, there's no way this is correct because I've taken off like 12 balancers my entire life and none of them went this way. We pop it off, this thing is tight as hell up against the balancer.
Yeah.
And then we take this out, put a socket on there, and that sucker came off like...
So what I had never really thought about is I normally do this with an impact. So when you do it with an impact, when it impacts, this socket will spin against the bolt. But when you're using a ratchet, you don't have that impacting. So it was just it was just a lot of pressure and turning the bolt with the puller. Not a big brain move on my part.
No. The argument that doesn't stand in this shop is I've done it like this before because I've done stuff way wrong. Especially, Mason was saved by Matt not being here. It would have been World War 36 and a half if his big brother was here.
Oh, it would have been...
And they're just like this the whole time. I love it. I just love to sit. Don't you love to sit back and watch?
I do.
Anyways, this video is about trucks, okay? So this here is one of my work trucks. I love it. I think for a non-daily driver budget work truck, 2500 with an LS in it, by far the best work truck you can buy.
Definitely the smartest move.
If you're not towing heavy, if you're going to haul like a 40-foot trailer around, do not get one of these. You have to get a diesel. But most of the time, you're not hauling heavy or driving trailers everywhere. So these are very good options.
I would say easiest thing to work on. Like something happens,
Oh, yeah,
you can go to the
100%.
parts store, get everything,
Yeah,
do
like-
it in the parking lot.
Everything's in stock.
Everything was in stock except for lower ball joints. I had them first thing this morning.
Mason put some new upper control arms on there. He's redoing the complete front end, redoing the steering, and I'm in $900 in parts to redo literally the entire front end. Which after this, the rear, there's not really much to service. The truck's got 200,000 miles. The motor runs great.
Like, this is the same front end as a Duramax, but where you save your money is all the expensive stuff. Like the suspension stuff on a Chevy, they're pretty good. I mean, this truck's got, what, 200,000 miles on it?
It still drove good.
Yeah, it still drove fine. The ball joints were gone. Y'all saw that. I mean, but it's still got original ball joints in it. It's very obvious. Like, it's never been replaced. It had the OEM control arms on it, which the bushings were shot. But like I said, it still drove good. I mean, 200,000 miles, man. Like,
The balancer was welded. The balancer, or
the
sorry,
torque
converter.
converter was welded.
The converter was welded to the flex plate, so that is not ideal. Do not do that.
That's another thing. Like, these things have a 480 transmission, and what's it going to cost you to get it rebuilt?
$1,200.
Yeah, a Duramax transmission or a Power Stroke transmission, $5,000 minimum.
Yeah. So, yeah. This here is old trusty. But anyways, let's talk about the real trucks we got outside. Someone commented, they said, hey, what happened to your big blue truck? And
Old Trusty?
old trusty's out there getting 1 mile to the gallon.
Oh, gosh.
Are you alive?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna give you a quick rundown on what to do and not to do to build a badass dually truck. So I know, listen, you guys can go and watch all the damn truck channels and be like, oh, build this, build that. You know, you got 50 grand in this, you got 60 grand in that, blah, 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 whatever. I'm gonna tell you an actual legitimate work truck that you are going to work, because I work the shit out of all of these, do I not? I mean, we rack up miles, we haul heavy, we go all over the place, they're out in the mud. I kind of set them up all the same. The Lot Lizard is set up very similar to it, except it's in hovercraft mode right now.
Oh, it's great.
But this is a perfect example. So this is what I do to all of them. First thing I do is I do some 10-lug adapters to big truck wheels. I run the 24 and a half milled down to 24s. So this is 10 by 285 or 285 and a half. And as you can see, I got the Alcoas right there. I got the Freightliner Classics or the AccuRides right there.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the railroad truck?
Obviously, I need to get the rears and the new tires on. And then I have a new set of Freightliner Classics for the Lot Lizard because you guys said you wanted the polished look and we're going to polish the bed. So we're gonna do the all polished look because that was machined and the bed's kind of dull, but when we polish the bed, we want everything to be shining and blinging. So tomorrow we'll get the new wheels and tires put back on this thing and be good to go. But first thing I do is I put the 24.5s on there. The reason I go with the 24 is everyone's like, man, put the 28s, put the 26s on there. It's tough to find a good tire in the 28s and 26s, and it's very difficult to find anyone to work on them.
Yeah.
Not a lot of shops will even touch a 26 or 28 inch tall tire. The 24s are a little bit easier because you go to a truck stop, like these right here are 24.5 inch wheels milled down. So if you go right over here, you can see where they mill them. See, it's freshly milled right there. So they just mill them down. Mill a 1/4 inch off of it, which on each side would be a 1/2 inch, and you're good to go. The next thing is tires. So I set up all my trucks with all the same tires. That way I can take like 1 or 2 spares. If we have 4 trucks on the road, those 1 or 2 spares are going to be interchangeable. Plus, I can take this tire off and put it on that truck, and take that tire off and put it on this truck. Take the whole, like the wheel and tire, they're all the same. They're all 10 lug by 285. That's just like what the big truck is. I try to keep it as simple as possible. These tires right here, I got for $308 a rip. It's a 24 inch rim, 35 inch tall, 12.5 wide. I don't know why I said it like that. That's weird.
Have you ever had a dream that you
It's a 35 1250 for a 24 inch rim. Price wise, you can't beat it.
It's a solid price.
You're not going to touch a $300 tire. That is 12 ply. It's very important you get the load rating right. They last pretty good.
You had some 8 plies at first, right? And it had some issues with the 8 plies.
The 8 plies do not do. I did all the R&D.
I'll say R&D.
Just like the race cars, I'm here to do the R&D for you. I'll try it out. We'll figure it out and see how it goes. These have about
dude, those things have been on there
45,000 miles.
Probably. I mean, close at least.
For a mud terrain tire, you really can't beat it. It's got some brand new fronts on there because I did not align it when I had it lifted, and it absolutely smoked the tires. My man David felt that down in Texas.
Yeah.
But tires, how easy are they to get?
Solid in Texas, real easy.
In stock. All right, so obviously we got the tires figured out. Let's talk about suspension. Everybody wants to do a lift kit, and everyone wants to be Billy Badass, spending 10 grand on this lift kit, powder coat, this and that. I don't waste my time with it. I don't even do lift kits. My 450 is factory ride height, just with the bigger wheels and tires. David, you got to lift a truck. Oh, man.
I would not suggest a lifted truck.
What happens when I can't show the picture? I'm not contractually, I can't show any pictures of what we're hauling when we haul some stuff. It's all private, by the way. We don't do any work for the public. It's all non-commercial use, for the record. But when you lift them up, they tow like Fido's ass because they just squat and like your way. It just don't work. So what I do is I just put leveling kits on everything. Oh, it's the poverty lift kit, whatever. Listen, it works great.
It works.
Look, 3-inch spacer. Okay, that honestly, the only reason I do it is for the ride height, just to have proper clearance, right?
Can't see in this thing.
So 3-inch spacer in the front to level it. Like on this truck, it was raked out really bad. Stock in the rear, but then I put airbags on them. All my trucks have airbags because when you level them, as soon as you hook weight to them, they try to squat, and they don't look good when you're squatted, nor does it tow good when you're squatted. My man David was hauling this trailer. It was a little tongue heavy, and he was scraping his Gen Y hitch on the ground.
Yeah, it's literally got scrape marks on it.
So, and this thing here is set up the same way. This one, it's just got a bigger spring instead of doing like a spacer to push the front axle down. And then this one actually has a 2-inch block in the back, and then I got airbags on it. So all my dually trucks, they ride like dually trucks. No, they're not going to ride like a damn not a dually truck. I mean, they're going to be a little bit rough, but I mean, they work good, and they're solid work trucks. My thing is, I keep them as stock as possible. This is the key to have a good work truck. You got to leave it as stock as possible. So when you're in Kentucky and your ball joint goes out, you have no weird aftermarket shit. You just go to the part store and swap the ball joint in the parking lot, you know?
Yeah, CJ's big lifted truck.
But, yeah,
tie rods ripped out.
He had aftermarket tie rods.
You can't just go to the store and buy one.
No, that's the
So
key.
he actually had to buy a whole new front assembly.
Did he really?
Just to be able to get back to North Carolina.
And this truck's kind of set up the same way. This truck here, actually, surprisingly, I did not have to do a lift kit. The Fords are good. You really don't have to put a lift kit on them to fit a 35-inch tall tire. So no clearance issue steering. This one obviously is leaf spring front and rear, so it rides a little bit rougher. But my man David's got a leaf spring front and rear truck, and it's just part of it. That's like part of the journey. So then you get to do cool shit like this, like put the big ass truck center caps and the spiked lug nuts. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about right there.
I just gave you guys the cheat code to have a sick dually that is cost effective and looks really good. So like that Dodge right there, I picked up smoking deal. Now the wheels, I'm not gonna lie, are expensive. This truck here, a set of 24s, all said and done with adapters, you're in about 10 grand. Wheels, tires, and adapters. So you'll spend a little money there, but you can get some 24s that are cheaper. If you know someone that has a lathe that can mill down the wheels, you can go and get those wheels for like $100 a pop. You could be in like, probably less than that. You just find some like old truck and just zip them off at a truck stop. You only need 6 of them. You know, some of them have a lot more than that. So you can get those, get them milled down. You can be in, maybe $3,000 wheels, tires, and adapters, and put a little 3-inch lift kit on there, put some airbags on there. You're ready to tow, mainly stock. Get your badass Gen Y hitch. If you want a badass Gen Y hitch, should I offer that to the public? They can hit me up? No, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. You want to do it? You want to handle that?
I don't know.
If you guys want a badass Gen Y hitch, message David on his Instagram.
Oh my God.
And he'll get you hooked up with a Gen Y hitch. I live and die by these things. They tow really good. They're actually a game changer.
Looks like you had a little scrapey scrape too, bud.
That was going over an overpass.
Oh, okay. Well, mine was just doing it driving down the road in Florida. 75 was not too fun.
Yeah. So
I mean, look, that thing's up there,
Yeah.
and that thing was dragging the ground. That's how squatted it was.
that's the downside
Yeah.
to the lift kit.
Yeah.
Looks good, can't haul ass.
No.
I'll tell you that. So there's your cheat code. I'm big about giving out cheat codes. I gave you cheat codes how to make 1,000 horsepower with an LS. I gave you cheat codes how to run 4 seconds with an LS. Now I'm giving you cheat codes how to have reliable work trucks that look good for the cheapest. You don't need to go and spend no $15,000 lift kit. You don't need no adjustable lift kit. You need something that sits decent so it clears your tires and go out there and make some money. And then once you have your diesel truck or your 3/4 ton truck or your Silverado 2500, hit me up, send me an email at johndocrecovery@gmail.com, and we just start stuffing money in your pockets. Like boom, boom, tomorrow's payday. So all the guys, how happy is everyone about to be?
Ecstatic.
Dude, they're about, whew, big checks going out tomorrow.